Good everyone, Froggy Picker here. In this video I will be picking the Vachette Volt, the version a2p 1 star. But first I have a shootout to do to CLK Supply, because I was lucky to be drawn into the Logboss giveaway 2 weeks ago. And so I received this very nice pinning mat that already saved my life a couple of times with from spring that jump around. And they did include some kind of new nice swag with this like a nice letter and with like everyone's, and some shim, which is great because I tend to destroy them every single time I use them. A nice follower, like metal follower with Schlag key, and it's actually hollow, so you can have the tailpiece inside. Pair of tweezers. You'll never have enough tweezers around to pick and grab different stuff. And finally, a beanie, Logboss beanie, which is going to be very convenient when I will have to move to the garage and work during winter, probably. So here it is. Thank you, CLK Supplies. And if you want to try to win some stuff, go to their videos and comment with like the hashtag Logboss, and you may receive some nice stuff. So here it is. Let's go on to picking now, and let me put the lock in the vise. Okay, the lock is in the vise, working perfectly. This is the exterior cylinder, so it has an element that will interact with these teeth at the end of the key. I'm using a counterclockwise rotation, pretty heavy tension to set up the standard drivers, and I will be doing it from the right of the pin. So here I have to go and try to find which pin are binding, and one is binding, so I will try to push it. Okay, I think I may have set up one. Number 2 is loose, so now I'm going to number 3. Okay, I think I set up 3. Number 4 is okay. I just passed 4, and now I'm trying to get on 5. I'm on 5 and trying to... I think I have set 5, so now let's go back. 6 is loose, yeah. So now let's go back to the front. 1, 2 is loose, and let's see if I can get, so 3, okay. Oh, okay, so 1 was just needed to be pushed a little bit. So here we are in a full set, which means that we only have the barrels pin to be set. So now I can relax a little bit my tension, and what I discover is that I will go from the left of the pin to apply counter rotation. So I'm not fighting with my tensioning tool. So the problem here is that the pin is on number 6. And I will put a picture of that key. It's really annoying because it is a very shallow cut, so I have to bring the pin really down inside the warding, and I just got it. So if I'm not really precise, I will lose everything else. So that was number 6, and now I have one more pin with number 3. That is same deal, so extremely shallow cut, and I need to get it without resetting everything. And here you see we have an open. So I will do 360, and to show you something that was a little bit disappointing when I was looking at it. So here I have to push all the driver back in their chamber. And this interactive element at the end of the key is supposed to block the rotation of the plug when you're going at 3 positions, the side, and you're going to hear a small click. But yeah, it's not even, it's very difficult. Here, for some reason, it is not working, or it's not working very slightly. So you heard that click. So this is this element that is trying to go into one of the groove ears that is in the cylinder. And supposedly it should prevent the rotation. Except you see I can push through it. So here it's actually kind of working when I go this way. So I can't push further. And to solve that, the only thing that you need to do is to get a pick and go and lift that small pin or small bar in the center. So it's very easy to bypass, and I'm not exactly sure why it's not working, so let me just continue. Here it clicked in place, but I can push it and just go through it, and here we are, 360, and the lock is locked back up. So let's go through the gutting and I will show you what's going on. So here it is. So to gut this lock, there is a few things that I learned, and I will put some extended footage after the gutting process, because I did manage to brick it twice in 2 different manners. So if you're not careful with this cylinder, it will just lock on you and you're going to won't be able to gut it. So I will try to show you what's happening here. So we have so to gut it, the easiest way is to use one of these keys. And what I discovered, so you have holes for key differentiation, or key mastering on the top and on the side of the plug. So you don't want your driver to enter into these holes, otherwise it's going to be really hard to get out. So what I did is, what I found out is that if you rotate by 45 degrees to align this piece of warding or this piece of warding with the driver, then it is actually relatively safe to use just a standard follower. And here I'm just trying to get, here we are. And the only thing that I have to take care of now is there is this kind of interactive or safety element here that I have to hold. Otherwise it will spring on you and just shoot everywhere. So let me first actually handle this part. So you see here you have this small metal piece that I'm holding down. And so if I remove the key a little bit, it will be released. And okay, so this is this very small wedge of metal, and I will show how it works after. There is 2 tiny springs here that are holding this thing, and then let me get the drivers. So drivers are mostly standard drivers, except for one for the very low cut, which has some kind of serration, and I think it is to protect from maybe bumping. I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. So okay, so this is 6, and then all of these pins are the same. 3, 2, and this is 1, this is not 2, and one, and the other one. Okay, so all standard pin except the longest one. And then for the drivers, we have a standard, so that was like what I was on the first pass trying to set. The number 2 was a spool, that was the last one I set. Number 3 is same thing on the first pass, I was jumping from 1 to 3. Number 4 is a spool, but it didn't really come into play because of this. I just really had to touch it to clear the shear line. Number 5 is normal, so that was the first one that I set. And then number 6, oh, sorry, I got the spring here, is a spool. So this was the one that was like a little bit difficult to get because it was so far away and I had to go around that high pin here. And then all the spring are the same with this very nice copper springs. Okay, so let me do a quick, and there is nothing special in the chamber of the driver. The only thing special are these like 3 grooves, so on the 2 on the side, 1 on the top, that are supposed to mate with the knob on this element and so prevent the rotation of the core, but as we see it's like not super effective. The other way they can be used is if you look at the plug, so you have here the driver, I mean the pin chamber, and then you have these series of holes here on the side of the key and on the other side. And this is for key differentiation. So you would have, or key mastering. So you could have various holes, and that would allow keys to work with certain cylinder or not. So that would be, you know, the usage. So let me make a close-up situation. Here we are. So as you can see. So all standard pin, one with some serration, and then 3 spool and 3 normal. So that was, you know, the picking of the Volt a2p 1-star version. And I will now add a couple more footage about what happens, about, you know, how can you break this cylinder, and how to recover from it, and also how is the safety element working. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember the rule, only try this at home and leave any ferro locks to professional. Thank you, bye. Okay, so thank you for sticking around. I will now show you how I managed to actually break this Volt cylinder in 2 different manners. So the goal at the beginning was not to cut this double-sided euro. And you know, the first step, which is to remove the cam or the tail, went very well. You know, you just like remove the clip, put your keys, and start pulling the cylinder a little bit until you clear the gap, and then, you know, the tail and the centerpiece, you know, just come right off. And then I thought, okay, well, now I need to pull the cylinder off, and I think because of this extra piece at the back, I will do it with the key, so that would retain everything and not like snag. So the first thing that I did was, well, let's try to do it the same way as what I did for the multi-lock, which is put the side of the key, which is smooth, you can see here. Let's put the side of the key against the driver, so this way, and then start pulling the plug. And so when you do that, then you hear this click, and then you know something wrong happened, and you are in the situation where, so you have to imagine the thing is already it's still locked, or you have two sides. So, and here it's completely blocked. So the so that's like that's already bad. You know it's bricked. So I said, like, okay, well, if this was blocked and I tried to move it, I couldn't figure out what was going on. Let's try on the other side. So let me just put the other side. So let's try on the other side to do it like the reverse, to use the top of the cylinder, or this toward the driver. So I flip the key this way, and then I start pulling, and same thing, I hear a click, and now the thing is blocked at a different lengths, but it's the same thing. It's like blocked. And so at that point, I was in this situation with like two keys in the lock blocked, different depths, I guess. But I just had to cut the lock and try to figure out how to solve the situation. So the first one, that was actually relatively easy. So this is on the interior side of the cylinder. And this safety mechanism that we've seen, like this like small metal wedge, is actually only on the exterior side. And what happens is, and I don't know if it's going to, is that it's creating a small gap where a spool can actually go in and just completely snag. So the way to save the situation here is actually to use a tweezer and to push the spool back in its chamber, and then if everything is aligned, and I may have to speed up this part because it can be a little bit touchy, you are able to push back the plug. Okay, here it is. So I was able to push it back, and so from there, what you really have to do, and just as I showed in the gutting process, is you have to put it 45 degree to align this piece of the plug, and then you can actually push everything out. But really, when you look at the plug, because of all these passive pin holes, the only safe path are at like 45 degree at the bottom, basically, this side, there and there. So actually, while I have the plug out, let me try to explain what happened when on the other side. So on the other side, I turned, so imagine that the drivers are, pointing down. What I did is I turned it this way, and then I start pulling. And then what happens is now the drivers were able to drop into these holes here. So they are slightly misaligned, and that's why the plug, you can see here, the plug is only pulled a little bit. And so this is really bad, because all 6 drivers were pushed into these passive pins holes. And so in this case, if the key was not in the plug, you could probably use some kind of very deep hook, and then push every one of them out, and then get the rotation. But in this case, the only way that I found was to use the kinetic method, also known as whack-a-mole. And here you can see on that piece of wood, I actually had to do it quite a few times. So it took about maybe 10 minutes of whacking the cylinder on that wood to use the kinetic energy to compress the spring and at the same time push with the right timing, push the cylinder. And it's a little bit like bumping key. You really need to get your timing perfect. And so in this case, what I did is I only have one driver, which is enough to obviously lock the whole cylinder, but it makes it a little bit easier to do. So let me try to see how many try it will take me to actually push back the cylinder. So here, I'm going to hit it this way and have the driver go inside, and then I have to push the cylinder at the right moment. So I will have to mute the sound or decrease it because it's kind of noisy. So let's see how many try. Oh, okay. I just got it. You see the cylinder is back in. So it's just a matter of timing. You smash the surface, the spring compress, and then you push your cylinder in. It's a lot harder when you have more pins. This was only with one pin, and I will count on the video how many times I had to hit that board. But same thing. You just rotate 45 degree, and then you can push. Let's push it with this side, and then you can push the thing out safely. So anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for sticking out on these extra segments, and have a good day. Bye.